Perhaps at some time or another, some of us, if not all of us here in the Kingdom Hall today, may have thought or wondered what it would be like to be rich, powerful, or both, rich and powerful. In our minds, how far did we go? Did you see yourself driving that Mercedes-Benz or driving the Rolls-Royce? Maybe you indulge yourself a little bit as you were driving, and you practice how you would hold your head up straight as you pass the people on the side of the road, as the world called them, your haters. Well, let's hope that's as far as the fantasy went. You know, living in the world, in the society that we live in today, is very difficult for us as Christians. We're bombarded with advertising, books, movies, magazines, all of which drive the notion of fulfilling every desire for fantasy and pleasure, and all with no responsibility or accountability. In the late 80s and 90s, we had television programs like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Remember it? We served weekly a wonderful dish of champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Books like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Today we have reality TV, where contestants engaging in everything from risking life and limb to running shamelessly through a jungle, ball naked. All for what? Riches? Fame? There's little surprise that many fall victim to the urges and desires that are promulgated through the media today that's used by Satan, and indeed the system. It brings to mind the story of a little man. It's a little known tale. And it's about a little man that lived in a fishing village somewhere up around the Bering Straits. And this fishing village was world renowned as a hot spot for fishing big game fish, 1,200-pound tunas. And this little village didn't have a lot of people living in it, but it was a beautiful place. The man that lived there was of meager means, he and his wife. They didn't have a lot. But every year, he would watch as the millionaires and billionaires of the world, the elite, would fly in on their private jets, come in on their yachts, some of them 200-300 feet in length. And he would look at them and watch them intently, intrigued by the lifestyle. You see, even though on the outside, the friends in the neighborhood, in the village, would point to him and say he was a man that was content with his meager means, inside his heart, he was thinking and he was fantasizing about having a better life. He would fantasize of having his own mega yachts. Why not 2? Why not 3? Why not the biggest home in the whole village, is what he would think. You see, in his heart, he didn't want to be simply rich. He wanted to be filthy rich, obscenely rich. One day as he was walking along, he was just headed home to his little house. He was walking on the shore, and he just had a miserable failure of a day fishing. He had 2 fish, 3 fish that he caught. And he stumbled across a cup. Without thinking, he bent over, he picked the cup up, he looked at it. Maybe it fell from one of the mega ships, cruise yachts that the rich people are on. I'll keep it, he said to himself. It's in good condition. And he went home. Many years later, on a brisk winter morning, he was sitting on his meager little porch, sipping the last sip of tea from that cup. And he got to thinking, my, I did not achieve anything in my life. I'm so poor. And the more he thought about it, the more sad he became. And the more sad he became, the more he cried. Well, it just so happened that as he was crying profusely, a drop of tears fell into his cup, and boom, it immediately turned into a pearl. Well, you could imagine his surprise, and his happiness, of course. Why, it wasn't long before this man realized that anytime he cried out of sadness, his tears, when they fell into the cup, would turn to pearls. You know where he went from there, right? But it wasn't long before he ran out of things to be sad about. So he ran out of reasons to cry. Tragically, the story ends with the little old man sitting on a mountain of pearls with his cup in one hand, and he was still crying, and in his other hand was a knife and the slain body of his wife. How far would you allow your fantasies to go? Millions of people around the world indulge in flights of fantasies. Like the little old man of our story, they dream of gaining fabulous wealth and prominence, dreams of fulfilling every desire of pleasure, some of them even engaging in immoral sexual activity. These fantasies, so we